Hello, this is Catherine from Accelerated Reader reading books for you. Today I will be reading Jamal's Big Plan, Book 2, The Adventures of Jada and Jamal series. Written by Latoya Patterson. Illustrated by TullipStudio. Before I begin reading, I would like to give a big thanks to the author for sending me this book to read on my channel. In the description below, I've included links where you may find and purchase this book. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tonight, I beat my sister to the tablet to answer Mommy's nightly call. Mommy said that we were all migrating to live with her in Canada. I was so excited that I returned my sister Jada's hug. Mama, Mama, we are finally going to play in the snow, I shouted excitedly to my grandmother. Mama looked sad and said, I'm sorry, Jamal, but I can't come with you. Suddenly, my chest felt heavy and I could not breathe. Mama told me whenever I felt this way, I should inhale deeply, fill my belly with air like a balloon, and slowly release all the air. I followed her advice, but I was still sad. Jada and I went to the kitchen. Mama was baking sweet potato pudding, our favorite dessert. Mama, why can't you come with us? I asked. Mama looked unhappy and said, I have responsibilities here, Jamal. I can't leave. Don't you want to be with us? Jada asked. Of course I do, but I have to take care of the animals as well. That night, while Daddy was putting me to bed, I asked, Daddy, can you make Mama come with us? Daddy frowned, then replied, I also want her with us, Jamal. But Mama has to stay and take care of Sally the pig, Juba the goat, and Miss Polly and the other chickens. Who would take care of them if Mama came with us? I sighed in disappointment and decided that I needed to find a way to make Mama join us. The next day I came up with my big plan. I was so excited. I decided to find someone to take care of the animals for Mama so she could join us. I thought for a while, then realized that I knew the perfect person. Mr. Brown, our neighbor. Mr. Brown owned an animal farm. I hoped that if I captured Mama's animals and brought them to him, that he would agree to keep them. I ran to the front yard where the chickens were gathered and grabbed at Miss Polly. I missed and got caught in the fence. I tried again and crushed painfully on my tummy. The chickens scattered and all I had to show was a skinned knee. Anger filled my chest, so I closed my eyes and slowly counted to 10 until the feeling disappeared. Just then, Mama called me inside for breakfast. It was my favorite, but I was too upset to eat much. You have barely touched your porridge, Jamal. Are you feeling ill? Mama asked worriedly. I'm not very hungry, Mama, I answered. A few minutes later, I sat on the steps, still figuring out the best way to catch those chickens. Suddenly, I remembered that when Mama fed them, they all came running. I hurried inside and found the pan where Mama kept their corn. I rushed outside and threw the corn to them. Instantly, I was surrounded by chickens. I screamed as Miss Polly jumped at me, trying to get to the pan of corn. I was so frightened that I dropped the pan and ran. Jamal, Daddy called. Stop chasing those chickens. I wasn't the one doing the chasing, I thought, as I looked back at the flock of chickens pursuing me. Okay, Daddy, I shouted as I ran to the veranda and quickly closed the gate behind me. A few minutes later, I sat on the veranda, frustrated that my plan had not worked. I still wasn't ready to give up, so I decided to aim at a new target, Juba the goat. I hoped that capturing him would be easier. Juba was munching on the hibiscus flowers on the fence. I grabbed a piece of rope, planning to tie it around his neck. I tried to sneak up on Juba, but I stubbed my toe on a stone. Ow! I cried out in pain. Juba spun around, saw me, and started running. I ran after him, but Juba was too fast. He jumped on a stone wall and then climbed into a nearby mango tree. Once again, I wanted to scream in frustration, but practiced my breathing techniques instead until I was calm again. I followed Juba up the tree, but he climbed so high that there was no way I could reach him. He stood in the tree and bleated at me twice before he rushed to the ground and stood looking up at me. I stood in the tree feeling disappointed and angry. I was not ready to give up. My next target was Sally the pig. I could not let her escape as well. I ran to the side of the yard to see Sally in her pen eating. I climbed in the pen, edged silently towards Sally, and quickly jumped on her back. Sally squealed in shock and took off running. I hung on to her back, crying, but afraid to let her go. Daddy, Mama, and Jada came rushing from the house on hearing my cries. My father grabbed me from Sally's back, hugged me tight, and said, "Jamal, what were you trying to do?" I sniffled, wiped my eyes, and told them of my big plan. Mama sighed, placed me in her lap, and said, "Jamal, you know I would join you if I could." "You can, Mama. Please ask Mr. Brown to keep the animals for you," I said. "Okay, Jamal. Since it means that much to you, I will go ask Mr. Brown now." A few minutes later, Mama returned and Jada and I ran towards her. "What did Mr. Brown say, Mama?" I asked anxiously. "He said yes," she said with a smile. Jada and I both jumped into her arms. A few months later, just as I imagined it, my entire family, including Grandma, enjoyed our first white Christmas by playing in the snow. The end. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. In the description below, I've included links where you may find and purchase this book.